Part 66. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 651. How about it? Xiaoxian, I know that with your current strength, it's not that easy to target me. If you have no other means, you will win this game. Niu He said, turning around to leave the fighting battlefield. The reason why Niu He did this was actually a bit forced. After the previous fight, he had no choice but to discover that Xiaoxian's movement and Taoist skills were indeed somewhat subtle. If he doesn't use other body and Tao techniques, I really can't catch up with Xiaoxian. It can be said that with this exquisite body and Taoism, Xiaoxian is already invincible. Although I hate to admit it, this is also the reality. If we win so easily, I'm afraid it will be difficult to convince the crowd, right? Xiaoxian also put away the yin-yang stealth technique. Since we have to fight, we must naturally show our absolute strength. What's the meaning? So, you're going to confront me head-on. What Niu He wanted was Xiaoxian's words. At this moment, his eyes lit up and he said directly, "Are you telling the truth?" At the same time, Wu Meng also frowned slightly. Just now, Xiaoxian and Niu He were chasing each other and fighting each other, and finally managed to draw a tie. This was beyond his expectations for Xiaoxian. But he didn't expect that Xiaoxian was still not satisfied and wanted to confront Niu He head-on. Do you want to defeat Niu He head-on? Isn't this a bit exaggerated? You must know that although Niu He can only use the military combat skill of Snow Dragon Spear, the power of this military combat skill is naturally greatly enhanced because of the strong Tao power as a blessing. If Xiaoxian wanted to confront him head-on, I'm afraid it would be more difficult. It depends on what you mean. It seems that it has been decided. Niu He laughed sadly. I didn't expect that you still have such courage. In this case, I really want to see how capable you are. There's no point in using your words. If you are a cultivator at the peak of the spiritual god realm and you only have this little ability, I will look down upon you. Xiaoxian smiled. After some pulling just now, he also had a thorough understanding of the Snow Dragon Spear technique. He could feel that Niu He was not that familiar with it. It's like there is a vague feeling of stagnation. For top players, a little sluggishness at critical moments can completely defeat their opponents. Just like now. Xiaoxian knew that if he could seize the right opportunity and take action when Niu He's Snow Dragon Spear technique showed flaws, he could completely defeat Niu He. Then come on. Although I don't have any combat skills in the military, the 4 profound ways I learned are by no means a false claim to fame. Xiaoxian's serious sword was unsheathed. A ray of silver light appeared and went straight to Niu He's head. It is the Wuji sword technique. However, this Wuji sword technique was only inherited by Xiaoxian from Gongsun Heya at that time and was not integrated. He now wants to try the Wuji sword technique without fusion. Can you defeat Niu He's rigid military combat skills? Break. Snow Dragon Spear formation. Seeing Xiaoxian really no longer dodge, Niu He also became interested in the battle. After roaring, the silver gun in his hand turned into a stream of light and went straight to Xiaoxian's throat. It is the first move of your Snow Dragon Spear technique, the Snow Dragon Spear formation. This move may seem ordinary, but there are countless variations hidden in it. If the enemy sees the menace of this move and subconsciously avoids it, then it will play into their designs. Next, Snow Dragon Spear technique has at least 5 or 6 countermeasures. However, Xiaoxian, who had been fighting Niu He for a long time, naturally did not fall into the trap. Instead of flinching, his body took the initiative and collided with the spear. Keng. Boom. Under the collision of gold and iron, a violent power of the avenue burst out from it. The next second, Xiaoxian and Niu He took a few steps back at the same time. Their faces turned pale, and they were obviously greatly affected. Xiao Xian could accept the result of this tie. Just now, he had activated the pure Yang sword art in his body, greatly increasing the power of the great Dao in his body. Although he is only an intermediate level person in the spiritual God realm, the depth of the principles of the great Dao in the Qi Si is no weaker than that of a high-level person in the spiritual God realm. Even if compared with Niu He, it's just a hair's breadth away. That's why there is such a result. On the other side, after seeing such a situation, Niu He was furious. He knew that this time he and Xiao Xian would face off on the battlefield. Even if it ends in a draw, his reputation will be tarnished. As for the other people in the academy, you actually broke the rules. At the same time, his two fists were swept by fierce Tao power. Boom. After Niu He finished speaking, the silver gun in his hand flashed, and his body was like a tiger descending from the mountain, heading straight for Xiao Xian's door. In an instant, Niu He, who was still showing off his ferocity on the fighting stage just now, was pinned to the ground by a move. This time Niu He used the Taoist skills he had practiced for many years. Xiao Xian naturally suffered a big loss. He couldn't hold back a mouthful of blood and vomited it out. Today I will show you my true strength. With Wu Meng taking action, Xiao Xian couldn't help being stunned, and quickly used his strength to dodge the attack. After all, an old student at the peak of the spiritual God realm was evenly matched with a freshman at the middle level of the spiritual God realm. This is enough to show his incompetence. In desperation, Master Wu, Under the huge pressure, Niu He didn't even have a chance to react and could only beg for mercy. You actually don't follow Master Wu's rules. This is entirely possible. However, the battle just now still caused him a lot of injuries, and his internal organs seemed to have moved under the violent impact. The pressure on Xiao Xian also disappeared instantly. Under the collision of fists and palms, Xiao Xian retreated one after another. He originally wanted to use the yin-yang stealth technique to evade, but this time Niu He changed his moves on the spot and it was too late to use the stealth technique to evade. They don't care about the rules on the battlefield. It caused a sharp pain in his chest. Niu He. See this scene. Xiao Xian, do you really think you can defeat me casually? Even if he were defeated, Bai Shen would probably change his attitude towards him, not fulfill his promise, and absorb him into Bai Shen's lineage. The strength of the Blue God realm was displayed. Thank you Master Wu. Black Tiger Palm, Dao power surged in Niu He's hand, and he hit Xiao Xian's chest with a palm. He discovered that Niu He, who was so angry, had ignored the rules and used his Taoist skills. How? Both arms were instantly covered with blood. Wu Meng was furious when he saw Xiao Xian was injured, and immediately suppressed Niu He on the fighting platform. Boom! He could only desperately mobilize the power of the Great Road in his body, put his hands together, and collided with Niu He. Niu He, you are so brave. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 652. Defeated. Xiao Xian gritted his teeth. He understood that although Niu He was the one who violated the rules this time, if he didn't use the trump card of fusion Taoism, he really would not be Niu He's opponent. However, just when he was about to use his power to recover from his injuries. Some subtle changes suddenly occurred in his body. A golden power and a green power were slowly restoring his damaged meridians and blood vessels. This is the power of the dragon and the power of Xiao Green. Xiao Xian thought for a moment, but he instantly understood the current situation. This should be because the dragon body pill and Xiaolu he used before had an effect. For such changes, he really didn't expect it. After all, when he was refining the dragon body pill, he just felt that there seemed to be some dragon aura on his body. But he didn't expect that he could actually get the dragon's recovery ability. It is said that the true ancient dragon power can reverse the rebirth with just a drop of blood and a piece of bone. Xiao Xian understood. As far as his current strength is concerned, it is a bit of a fantasy to reach the level of dragon power. There may be some restorative power. When he fights against others in the future, he will have more chances of winning and more trump cards. Xiao Xian, how are you? Seeing that Xiao Xian was injured, Long Ruoxiu, Wang Tai and others also hurried over. After seeing the injury on Xiao Xian's arm clearly, they all gritted their teeth with hatred. This damn Niu, he is so unruly. You shameless fellow, don't worry, junior brother Xiao Xian, I will definitely get you back this time. Grandmas. At this time, even Wang Tai, who was usually honest, couldn't help it. He walked directly in front of Niu He and pulled the ladder up. Niu He, you are such a shameless person. You actually used your strength at the peak of the spiritual god realm. Do you still have any sense of being a senior brother when you attack someone in the middle level of the spiritual god realm? If you have the ability, fight me. Niu He knows that he is wrong. In front of Wu Meng, he naturally did not dare to provoke Wang Tai. He just closed his mouth and looked at Xiao Xian. But after seeing that the latter was fine, he couldn't help but feel shocked. He knew very well how powerful his move just now was. Ordinarily, if a cultivator at the middle level of the spiritual realm was hit hard by him, a few bones would be broken at least. But looking at Xiao Xian's appearance now, he didn't seem to be much hurt. It's just that there is some dust on the body. This was something he couldn't believe no matter what. He couldn't help but stare at Xiao Xian with his eyes wide open. You, how are you okay? Does senior brother Niu He hope that something will happen to me so much? Xiao Xian couldn't help but sneer and said, don't worry, what senior brother Niu gave me today, sooner or later, I will return it to you intact. Humph. Long Ruoxiu also glared at Niu He. Thank you Master Wu for saving me. Xiao Xian used his Dao power and found that thanks to the dragon's aura and Xiaolu's repair, his body was no longer seriously injured. He stood up and handed over to Wu Meng. Needless to say, my teacher's reaction was a bit slow just now. If I get a few more points, I'm afraid this villain will really succeed. Wu Meng's face was also livid. He lowered his head and looked at Niu He coldly. Niu He, tell me, who asked you to do what happened today? The disciple was angry for a moment, and there was no one to instruct him. Niu He was also a smart man, so naturally he did not dare to tell Bai Shenglei. Even if you don't tell me, I know that it's nothing more than a white victory. Master, you. Do you think that with Bai Sheng backing you up, you can sit back and relax? You look down on me, Wu Meng, too much. Wu Meng sneered. Dean Wu Meng, since this is a competition between disciples, we shouldn't take some things too seriously. This can be regarded as giving me Bai Sheng some face, how about that? At this moment, a figure in white robe suddenly appeared on the horizon. It was Bai Sheng. See Bai Sheng appear. Niu He was naturally overjoyed and struggled to get up quickly. Dean Bai, save me quickly. Save me quickly. Face. If Niu Haruo could join their lineage, he would at least have one more disciple at the peak of the spiritual god realm, which would naturally be of great benefit to their lineage. But there was nothing they could do. I wonder if Elder Wu Meng is willing to give me this face now. Bai Shenpi smiled but insisted on keeping Niu He. Wu Meng said, and a great power appeared from his hand instantly. But now, what's more important is that after the battle between the freshmen is over, old students will also be running for entry into the Qinglian Valley. Niu He's behavior obviously cannot help them. Wu Meng raised his head and said with a bit of provocation in his eyes, it seems that I, the dean, am teaching my disciples, so you don't need Bai Sheng to intervene, right? Elder Bai Sheng's words are wrong. Niu He wants to remove any of his veins. This is his freedom. Naturally, I will not interfere. However, now that he has not removed your veins, I am qualified to deal with him. After a heart-wrenching sound of bone cracking, Wu Meng questioned him like this in person. But I don't know. Does Dean Bai Sheng still have faith in my lineage? Niu He's limbs were instantly broken. Does this mean that the two of them are going to war? This, Master Wu actually took action. However, if the dean knew that Elder Wu Meng, as a branch dean, suddenly took action against a disciple, I'm afraid it would be hard for him. Elder Wu Meng is certainly not qualified to teach him a lesson. Originally, he accepted Niu He because of his strength. Doesn't this mean that this guy is now a useless person? Bai Sheng said sinisterly. The next second, it hit Niu He's body directly. Bai Sheng's face was also a little ugly, but he still managed to squeeze out a smile. There is no need for me to intervene if I teach my disciples a lesson. However, a few days ago, Niu He already said that he would join my Bai Sheng lineage. At the same time, the disciples of Wu Meng's lineage were all ashen-faced. Niu He was still in their lineage before going to the battlefield, but now he has become a member of Bai Sheng's lineage. Then he had been working hard for so long, wasn't it in vain? Wu Meng can be said to be the branch president with the best temper in Qinghua College. Today he directly punished his disciples. And in front of Dean Bai Shenfen. The other disciples present were also a little surprised. Humph. Elder Wu Meng has quite a temper. Click, click, click. Although he knew clearly that Bai Sheng was poaching. As soon as Niu He left Wu Meng's lineage, his limbs were broken. Although this injury was not permanent, it would at least affect his cultivation in the next few months. So now, Niu He is already a disciple of my Bai Sheng lineage. At this moment, Bai Sheng's face looked as ugly as possible. Looking at Niu He who was wailing in pain on the ground, he felt annoyed in his heart. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 653. Bai Sheng finished speaking. After looking at Xiao Xian coldly for a few more times, he turned around and left with Niu He who was dying on the ground. From his eyes, Xiao Xian also felt a bone-chilling coldness. Like a warning, like a threat. It was obvious that Bai Sheng had treated Xiao Xian as an enemy. At the same time, looking at Xiao Xian, Bai Sheng felt very uncomfortable. He still remembered that when he first met Xiao Xian, the latter was still an ordinary freshman, and his strength was just at the beginning of the spiritual god realm. Who knew that now, even Niu He, who was at the peak of the spiritual god realm, could defeat him? Is this growth rate a bit too fast? Although Niu He didn't really show his strength this time, Xiao Xian's achievement was worthy of shocking everyone. I didn't expect that Xiao Xian could be so capable. Next to Bai Sheng, Mu Xiaolong's face was also full of shock, and he couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. It's not that he felt sorry for the 100,000 spirit stones that he lost. He just didn't want to accept that Xiao Xian was able to survive Niu He's full palm unscathed. You know, with Niu He's strength, even he couldn't bear it. But Xiao Xian was able to bear it? Doesn't this mean that Xiao Xian is even stronger than him? Thinking of this, Mu Xiaolong couldn't help but feel his heart sink, and said to Bai Sheng, Master, should we pay more attention to the Xiao Xian? What? Are you scared? Bai Sheng interrupted Mu Xiaolong before he could finish his words. That's not true. It's just that he did show some different methods today. Mu Xiaolong was secretly frightened and quickly explained. Besides, I feel that this Xiao Xian is still hiding something secret. Bai Sheng said directly, from the beginning to the end. Xiao Xian and Niu He only used two kinds of Taoism, one is Shenfa Taoism, and the other is swordsmanship Taoism. Haven't you noticed? This disciple really didn't notice it. Mu Xiaolong was a little confused. Xiao Xian can become a professor at King Hua Academy. He must master at least 3 Taoist arts, but he only demonstrated 2 Taoist techniques in the competition. Don't you find it strange? Bai Sheng's eyes were sharp. Maybe Xiao Xian has other means. He said this. For a moment, the disciples next to him took a breath of cold air and glanced at Xiao Xian in the distance with strange eyes. Even Mu Xiaolong couldn't help but be a little surprised. He originally thought that Xiao Xian's ability to fight to a draw with Niu He was considered to be an extraordinary performance. Why doesn't it seem to be the case now? More importantly, judging from Bai Sheng's words, could it be that he has been paying attention to the battle between Xiao Xian and Mu Xiaolong? Isn't this a bit strange? Is it possible that Bai Sheng pays so much attention to Xiao Xian? Is it because of the strength Xiao Xian showed before? Ahem. Some things are called preparedness. Bai Sheng turned back and glanced at Mu Xiaolong. This trial in the Qinglian Valley is extremely important. No loss can be allowed no matter what, do you know? Yes, master, please tell me what I should do, Mu Xiaolong asked respectfully. What you have to do is very simple. As long as you learn some of the things I taught you, let alone Xiao Xian, even Wang Ralong is not impossible. Bai Sheng said this. On the other hand, Mu Xiaolong was completely shocked and couldn't believe his ears. Bai Sheng's lineage has always been inferior to Wang Ao's lineage in strength, so they did not dare to compete for the first place in various competitions. But today, Bai Sheng's words showed his intention. Actually planning to train Mu Xiaolong to defeat Wang Ralong? Does this mean to declare war with Wang Ao's lineage? Humph, you don't need to look at me with this expression. Bai Sheng glanced at the disciples beside him. I used to think that although Wang Ao's lineage was in decline, it shouldn't be a problem to win over Wu Meng's lineage. Who knows? They actually lost one after another. Since they don't have the ability to be ranked number 1 in King Hua Academy. Then let us do this first. But now, Bai Sheng actually plans to start a new business, so the situation is different. Today, Xiao Xian finally used his strength to slap other veins in the face. Okay, let's plan the next thing in the long term. Let's go. The disciples of Bai Sheng's lineage also became excited instantly, with excitement and enthusiasm in their eyes. In this way, our lineage's new battle is more confident. Watch Bai Sheng leave. A smile appeared on Mr. Wu Meng's face. Since the establishment of their lineage, they have been bullied by other lines because of their weak strength. Yes. As a group of disciples discussed it, Wu Meng's face became more and more happy. Wang Tai couldn't help but said, Xiao Xian, although you did not defeat Niu He directly, you have gained an understanding of Swilong's marksmanship. If you meet Mu Xiaolong in the battle of freshmen, you will have more chances of winning. Some of the disciples that I have worked so hard to cultivate are often cut off by others. Based on this alone, it is worthy of attention, and Wu Meng will definitely spend more effort on him. Yes. Awesome, Xiao Xian. Maybe they will also have a chance to compete for a spot. This time I slap Niu He in the face, I'm afraid it will also hit the face of Bai Sheng's lineage. I'm afraid no one will dare to look down on our lineage in the future. How could he be unhappy? Even they had to face the full blow from the peak of the spiritual god realm with caution, but they didn't expect Xiao Xian to be able to resolve it. We believe in you too, come on Xiao Xian. No, since the victory in the martial art battle, no one in King Hua Academy looks down on anyone of our lineage. Xiao Xian naturally became the most dazzling person among the freshmen. Even Wang Tai and Meng Xiaoli cast admiring glances at him from time to time. Senior brother, I believe you will be able to defeat Mu Xiaolong easily. Naturally, they were quite surprised. After all, they also know Niu He's strength. After all, if we follow the previous strategy of Bai Sheng you may. Yes, come on Xiao Xian, if you can enter the Qinglian Valley, your future achievements will be immeasurable. After following Wang Ao's lineage to make a living, the qualification of this only freshman to enter the Qinglian Valley will most likely be given up in the end. More importantly, anyone with a discerning eye can see that Xiaoxian is still just a freshman and can do such surprising things. Fighting in the audience. Return to the meeting hall of Wu Meng lineage. After such an encouragement. This happened right in front of them. After taking another look at Wu Meng's lineage in the distance, Bai Shenke left with his disciples in a swaggering manner. Future achievements will only be even more dazzling. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 654. Inside the meeting hall. Regarding the flattery from everyone, Xiaoxian behaved relatively calmly. He knew that such compliments would have no effect other than getting some inner comfort. As for the battle for freshmen in Qinghua College, he will naturally go all out. Not only for the qualification to go to Qinglian Valley, but also to not let Wu Meng down. However, he still vaguely felt a little uneasy. Neither Wang Rolong nor Mu Xiaolong was a fuel-efficient lamp. Plus Chen Meng, who is not weak in strength. It's not that simple for him to get the first place in the freshman battle. Maybe, in addition to his fusion skills, maybe he should also find a way to get more trump cards. Thinking of this, Xiaoxian couldn't help but look at Wu Meng with warm eyes. He understands that although Wu Meng usually lives a leisurely life, his attainments in cultivation are not shallow. If he can get his help, he will certainly be able to win the first place in the battle among the new students. Ahem. What do you want me to do as a teacher? Under the leadership of Xiaoxian, not only him, but also the freshmen from Wu Meng's lineage also looked at Wu Meng eagerly. After all, this time the battle between the freshmen of Qinghua College is quite important. If their lineage can win a place among the freshmen, the college will naturally give them more resources. So hello to everyone. So. Their meaning was also very clear. Bai Sheng's lineage was so strong that they even used their military combat skills to invest in Mu Xiaolong. Shouldn't Wu Meng devote some resources to invest in Xiaoxian? Master, junior brother Xiaoxian is so outstanding, doesn't Master have anything to reward him? This time the speaker was actually Meng Zili, who had always been at odds with Xiaoxian. I believe junior brother Xiaoxian is a person who can create miracles. That's right, even Mu Xiaolong has military combat skills, we can't be inferior. I heard that Master has an earth-level Taoist technique. If he can show it, junior brother Xiaoxian will definitely win first place. Not bad. Hear a conversation among a group of people. Xiaoxian couldn't help but become interested. Earth-level Taoism. It is said that this is used in battles between Kangshen realm practitioners. Once it is used, it can bury mountains and create seas, destroy heaven and earth. If he can really obtain the earth-level Taoist skills, he will naturally soar into the sky in the battle for new life. Earth-level magic. I'd rather give it to you. Wu Meng instead smiled and said, however, with your current level, even if you have such a level of Taoism, you still can't use it. Why? Xiaoxian couldn't help being stunned. The minimum requirement for the use of earth-level Taoism is that the cultivator reaches the peak of the spiritual god realm. Only in this way can the practitioner have sufficient Tao power, Wu Meng said. However, I can give you a small earth-level Taoism. What is this? Xiaoxian felt as if he didn't know anything. This is a Taoist technique that is not as powerful as earth-level Taoism, but is stronger than ordinary Xian-level Taoism, Wu Meng explained. It is just right for you to use now. So good, so good. Thank you so much, Master Wu. Xiaoxian nodded quickly. The freshmen behind him were also very happy. At this time, they had already stood on a united front with Xiaoxian, and they understood that perhaps with Xiaoxian's help, perhaps their lineage could achieve better results. However, I heard, Master Wu seems to have something better. Just at this time. Meng Xiaoli continued with a smile, I have long heard that Master Wu still has some spiritual treasure magic weapons. The spiritual treasure magic weapons do not have the restrictions of the earth level and the mysterious level, right? Ahem, cough, cough. After hearing this, Wu Meng coughed a series of times, I'm afraid of a traitor. What? Master, do you still have spiritual treasure magic weapons? It is also normal to attract the favor of some men. Magical weapon and spiritual treasure. Bah, I won't give it to you. Don't think too much. I'm just worried about the outcome of our lineage. It's not just Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu. Worry. Instead, Xiao Xian looked indifferent and waved his hand, it doesn't matter. I know I'm handsome. It's normal for you to like me. Don't worry, I, Xiao Xian, am not a scumbag. Even if other girls like me in the future, I will also be exposed to rain and dew. Master, you are too picky. I have never seen you take it out before. Long Ruoxiu glared at Xiao Xian, I've been worried for a long time. Long Ruoxiu also realized that what she just said was a bit ambiguous, and she quickly explained with a blushing face. However, if you can achieve the same level as Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu, I will certainly not treat you badly as a teacher. Tao Stone. The freshmen behind them also sighed one after another, looking at Wu Meng with envy, obviously hoping to get the magic weapon and spiritual treasure. Long Ruoxiu also suddenly remembered her bet with Mu Xiaolong. Mention the Taoist stone. Of course there is no problem. At that time, you could clearly use your physical skills to win, but you had to confront Niu He face to face. Do you know that this is very dangerous? She usually has the reputation of being a little witch. This was really something he didn't expect. Wu Meng smiled and said, I will take you to the Lingbao treasury later. You two can each choose a Lingbao you like, and I will pay for the Taoist stone. As he spoke, he deliberately raised his eyebrows and glanced at Qing Li not far away. After hearing these words, Xiao Xian couldn't help but take another look at Long Ruoxiu. But what Xiao Xian didn't expect was that Long Ruoxiu would take the initiative to speak to him like this today, as if she was really worried about him. Is Long Ruoxiu worried about him? Why are you looking at me like that? After such a long time, he had gotten to know Long Ruoxiu relatively well, knowing that the latter was originally a girl who was extremely hot but cold at the inside. By the way, Mu Xiaolong bet me 100,000 Dao stones at that time, but now he just ran away. She does things eclectically and often teases some freshmen who are not as strong as her, making these freshmen blush. Let's bet on the outcome of your battle with Niu He. Long Ruoxiu smiled at Xiao Xian, speaking of which, luckily you are more powerful, otherwise I would have lost. Coupled with a curvy figure and a waist like a water snake, she is a beauty in every aspect. Junior brother Xiao Xian and junior sister Long Ruoxiu are about to participate in the freshman competition. They have the best chance of winning first place, so don't be stingy. Snow white face with melon seeds and big peach blossom eyes. So, I have a share of these 100,000 Dao stones. Xiao Xian got off the donkey. What bet? Xiao Xian looked confused. But I have to say that Long Ruoxiu and this little witch are both very good in appearance and figure. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 655. Just when Xiao Xian was so beautiful. As expected, he received the ice-like eyes of Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu in the next second. Hee, it's just a joke. Don't take it seriously. Xiao Xian knows. Although he is now at the middle level of the spiritual god realm like Qing Li, if he faces the siege of Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu at the same time, he will definitely not end well. If you don't do it right, you'll get beaten in the end. It's good to know. If you say such things again in the future, see how I deal with you. Long Ruoxiu narrowed her eyes slightly and said viciously. Huh, Qing Li also snorted coldly. He. Xiao Xian also laughed dryly. Wu Meng didn't care about the behavior of the three of them, but the freshmen looked at them with envy and jealousy. In the new life of Wu Meng's lineage, Long Ruoxiu and Qing Li are undoubtedly goddess figures. The two of them are not only good in figure and appearance, but also extremely talented. More importantly, they also have very good family backgrounds. One is the beloved daughter of a big family. The other is a royal princess in the Qinghua Empire. With such a life experience and such strength, if you can marry someone home, wouldn't this be an opportunity to soar into the sky? But now it's good, these two peerless beauties are surrounding Xiao Xian. This naturally made them feel envious and jealous. They wished they could become Xiao Xian now and enjoy the latter's blessings. All right. Don't worry, since Mu Xiaolong agreed, the 100,000 Dao Stone Master will be given back to you. Wu Meng smiled, but after today's battle, you should go back and rest first. The next day, Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu followed Wu Meng to the Lingbao treasury. Along the way, I met many new students from other veins. When they saw Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu, they also cast strange looks from time to time. Obviously, they all knew the result of the fight between Xiao Xian and Niu He yesterday. The Lingbao Treasury is one of the most important places in Qinghua College. Because it contains all the precious spiritual treasures of the academy, there is an elder from the Kengshen realm guarding the door all year round. However, when the elder saw Wu Meng, he took the initiative to smile and nod, and let them in. In Lingbaoku, as long as you are a college or professor of Qinghua College, if you have enough Dao stones, you can exchange them for various cultivation resources, ranging from Kung Fu and Dao skills, magical weapons and spiritual treasures to animal bones and skins. There are all kinds of things. Enter the spiritual treasure house. Xiao Xian noticed that there was a two-story wooden building structure inside. There are neat wooden shelves on the first floor, with various spiritual treasures and precious items placed on them. You too can choose whatever you want on the first floor. The second floor can only be used by masters above the Kengshen realm, so there is no need to go up. Wu Meng stood there and said to Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu with a smile. Yes. Yes. Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu nodded naturally, and then began to look around curiously. First grade Snow Dragon Bone can strengthen the body and bones and improve bone toughness. The first grade Red Gold 10,000 Rentu can enhance the soul power in a short time and has many benefits in fighting against others. A first grade Gilt Bronze Hammer, powerful and equipped with the Meteor Hammer technique. Various spiritual treasures are placed. These things would cost tens of thousands of stones if placed outside, but now, they can be put on sale here. I suggest you get a defensive spirit treasure, Long Ruoxiu suggested. As far as I know, Wang Ralong and Mu Xiaolong are both very good at attacking. If you can do a good job in defense, you will also be able to win in the battle of freshmen. It will be more advantageous. Capsizing a boat in the gutter is a terrible and rare thing. Naturally, he didn't dare to be too careless. Hear this. He remembered that Gongsun Xiaoxiao seemed to have been rescued by Long Fei and Long Wu. If it was according to what Long Ruoxiu said, the experiences of Wang Ralong and Gongsun Xiaoxiao would not be erased. Long Ruoxiu was stunned for a moment, and then gave Xiao Xian a big roll of his eyes. The Wang family in the Mingzhou region is the largest family in the Mingzhou region, even more powerful than our Long family. In recent years, their family there are so many talented people out there. Why don't you even know this? Xiao Xian couldn't help but shouted Gongsun Xiaoxiao. According to our Long family's intelligence network, Wang Ralong was indeed picked up from the roadside by the Wang family at that time. Xiao Xian is not willing to be the protagonist of this kind of thing. Just when Xiao Xian was secretly sighing, a pretty face came over. Long Ruoxiu asked with a slight smile, "There are a lot of things in here. You don't seem to need Taoism very much, and there is no shortage of kung fu. You want to get it, defend the spirit treasure or attack the spirit treasure. If it were not for the safety of Tianxian continent and Honghuang continent. Do you know Wang Rulong's true identity? Long Ruoxia shook his head and said, maybe no one has told you before, but I can tell you that Wang Rulong was not a member of the Wang family of Mingzhou domain before. It really is. But I heard that the best defense is offense. Xiao Xian asked, what do you think of this sentence? Then tell me, Wang Rulong is not from the Wang family, is he a wild child on the roadside? Xiao Xian was also curious. Although that's what they say, the real situation is not that simple. Long Ruoxia shook her head. For Wang Rulong and Mu Xiaolong. This is somewhat interesting. He wouldn't even show off like that. Instead, Long Ruoxia said seriously, if the Wang family hadn't saved Wang Rulong at that time, he would have been eaten by wild dogs on the roadside now. Even though she knew that Xiao Xian was not very reliable in big matters, Long Ruoxia couldn't help but feel a little helpless after hearing these words. I really don't know what's going on with you. In fact, he was not originally from Daodao continent, and his appearance here today was an accident of fate. Why should I know? How to explain? To be honest, the two of them are also famous masters in Mingzhou domain, and it is normal for them to have some trump cards. What are you going to pick? Alright. You can get the cultivation resources you want by just spending Dao stones, which naturally saves you a lot of searching steps. Perhaps this is the advantage of practicing at Qinghua Academy. I haven't thought about it yet, Xiao Xian said. Xiao Xian was a little surprised. He just said it casually. He didn't expect that there would be a follow-up. Could there be other troubles? Therefore, let alone the Mingzhou territory, even if he didn't know much about the entire eastern wilderness continent, he naturally wouldn't know anything about the Long family and the Wang family. Xiao Xian was helpless for a while. Wang family? I don't even know about the Wang family. Xiao Xian smiled dryly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 656. After understanding what Long Ruoxiu said. On the contrary, Xiao Xian calmed down a lot, took the initiative to look at Long Ruoxiu in front of him, and asked, so, this is obviously not good news for me. After hearing this, Long Ruoxiu also nodded slightly. It seems that you are quite smart. Yes, this Wang Rulong is indeed a genius. It is said that he still has the blood of the dragon clan. Dragon bloodline. Xiao Xian's face instantly became serious. Yes, but he doesn't have a strong dragon bloodline, just a little bit, but he also has a very strong recovery ability. Long Ruoxiu said immediately, it is precisely because of this that he does not need to learn any recovery defense skills. Spend more time practicing offensive techniques. This is also the reason why he has strong offensive ability, right? Xiao Xian finally understood. So, I suggest you choose a defensive spiritual treasure or magic weapon, Long Ruoxiu said. Isn't this inappropriate? After hearing these words, Xiao Xian shook his head. To be honest, I am not a person who will be easily intimidated. Originally he wanted to refuse directly. But the next second, after seeing Long Ruoxiu's livid face, she quickly changed her words. However, since Miss Long said so, it means that Wang Rulong is really capable, so I still have to pay attention to it. That's pretty much it. Long Ruoxiu gave another powerful eye roll. But even so, I'm not afraid. Xiao Xian also expressed what he was thinking in his heart. I'm not surprised that you have this idea. Long Ruoxiu looked at Xiao Xian and nodded and said, however, I want to remind you that if you are not sure enough, don't take risks. Although his dragon bloodline is definitely not an ancient dragon, it should not be underestimated. Be careful with the 10,000 years ship, I naturally know this. Xiao Xian nodded, but continued, but how can you be sure that the dragon blood in him is not the ancient dragon? It's not simple yet. If Wang Rulong has the blood of the ancient dragon clan, he would be at least a master in the realm of the golden god now. Don't you know the terror of those ancient races? Long Ruoxiu said matter-of-factly. Hearing this, Xiao Xian couldn't help but think of Xiao Lu in his qi. Speaking of which, Xiao Lu could strengthen the elixir and repair injuries. This ability was also very extraordinary. Maybe it should be an ancient bloodline. However, he hasn't been told what the ancient bloodline system is, which really makes him a little curious. What are you going to do? Looking at what you're saying today, it seems like you're still going to be stubborn. Long Ruoxiu suddenly said, if so, I can introduce you to a good place, come with me. With doubts. Xiao Xian followed Long Ruoxiu to a corner on the first floor of a spiritual treasure house. He noticed that the spiritual treasures on the wooden shelves here were not as dazzling as the ones in the center. Each one was dusty, and there were several incomplete and dark spiritual treasures. Obviously, the quality of the spiritual treasures here was not as good as in the central area. What are you doing? Do you want to choose these broken spiritual treasures? Xiao Xian was a little confused. Of course not, you can take a closer look. The spiritual treasures here are different from the spiritual treasures in the center. Although some are broken, they contain an ancient atmosphere. Long Ruoxiu pointed at a broken spear in front of her and said. As soon as she said this, Xiao Xian became a little more interested and stepped forward to examine it carefully. Really? Xiao Xian discovered that although the spear was broken, there was still a gray broken sword inlaid on the head of the spear. Obviously it should be a time for two masters to fight. After the collision between the spear and the iron sword, the two weapons were destroyed at the same time, leaving such a nondescript thing in the end, but even so, there was a strong mysterious Taoism in it. Obviously, if this gunhead is re-refined, it should also greatly improve the quality of Taoist tools. This should be the reason why Qinghua Academy specially collects these things. Looking at other spiritual treasures, they are basically all somewhat damaged. As expected, they are all broken spiritual treasures. However, if these spiritual treasures are intact, they should at least be at the level of earth-level spiritual treasures. Xiao Xian nodded and said, if we can restore these spiritual treasures, I'm afraid we will make a profit. That's why I brought you here. Long Ruoxiu smiled. You mean, let me choose a spiritual treasure here? Xiao Xian understood what she meant. Certainly. Although most of the spiritual treasures here are broken, there are still some opportunities to discover treasures. It depends on your own choice. After Long Ruoxiu finished speaking, she left with a smile. Bet. Xiao Xian was not interested in this word. However, if he can be more than 90% sure, he can definitely take a gamble. In this current situation, the most suitable person to come forward is naturally the system. Ahem. Brother System, please stop pretending to be stupid at this time. Do you want to come out and sort out the situation? Xiao Xian also directly communicated with the system, are you still pretending to be stupid at this time? Isn't it a bit too much? System prompt, this system does not participate in casual bets. Don't be like this. When did I ask you to participate in the bet? I just said a normal thing. System prompt, this system does not participate in casual treasure hunts. Treasure hunt? System brother, please stop joking. Even if it is a treasure hunt, can't you participate in such an important treasure hunt? System prompts, the host already has spiritual eyes. If it can be used properly, you can naturally find suitable spiritual treasures. However, this system recommends that you choose the rightmost beat in the first 3 rows. Okay. Xiao Xian smiled. He just spent a long time talking nonsense with the system. The purpose is also very simple, it is nothing more than hoping that the system will give him some good suggestions. After all, a casual word from the system can often bring him considerable benefits. Put down the broken gun tip in your hand. Xiao Xian went around the wooden shelf in front of him and found the bead 3 rows behind. It was a fist-sized bead, completely black, with white lines on the surface. Upon closer inspection, there seemed to be tiny lightning flashes inside the bead. Thunder beads come from the lightning strike land in the north of the eastern wasteland continent. It's that simple. Xiao Xian was stunned. He had seen other spiritual treasures before, at least some brief introductions, but now this Lei Guangzhi just said a simple sentence. Are you looking down on this thing a little too much? No matter what, these are things placed in the spiritual treasure house of King Hua Academy. It is said to be of great value, right? Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 657. For safety reasons. Xiao Xian still took the initiative to open the spirit detecting eyes, wanting to see what was so great about this thing. The next second, he was shocked. I saw that in the huge spiritual treasure house in front of me, a lot of light appeared dotted. The thunder bead is indeed the brightest one. And based on his previous experience, as long as there is light, there will be opportunities. For ordinary practitioners, it is very difficult to have an opportunity. Who knew there were so many opportunities here? This place is really a treasure house. Xiao Xian decided that he would come to places like this more often in the future. Of course it's a treasure trove. The thunder bead in your hand costs 30,000 Dao stones. Wu Meng's voice came over. 30,000? That's a lot. Xiao Xian was stunned. After arriving at King Hua College, he had been following Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu, 2 young rich women. He had no place to spend money and had no idea about Taoist stones. 30,000 is not much, but that is a year's income as a teacher. Wu Meng looked heartbroken. Is there such a thing? But, I think Master Wu doesn't need to spend any Dao stones at ordinary times, right? If you keep the Dao stones, you should keep them, ha ha ha. 1. Xiao Xian also changed his tone and said with a flattering look on his face, besides, I believe that if I can win the first place in the freshman competition, a mere 30,000 Dao stones will be nothing. What he said hit the nail on the head. But it suddenly reached Wu Meng's heart. Although Wu Meng is a peaceful person, as a cultivator, he also has a competitive spirit in his heart. Not to mention, among the branch deans of King Hua College, although his strength is not weak, the strength of his lineage is weak. Because of this, he has been criticized in front of the college's dean Kang Long. When I heard Xiao Xian say this, I couldn't help but feel excited. So, you are very sure? Wu Meng couldn't help but ask. I dare not say 100% of the time, but this disciple will never let down Master Wu's training. Xiao Xian looked determined. Ha ha ha. As expected of the disciple who has been favored by me, with this kind of character, my future achievements will definitely be great. Wu Meng looked at Xiao Xian with satisfaction. This trial in the Qinglian Valley may really be an opportunity for you to soar into the sky. Don't dare to take it seriously. Previous achievements were just due to the disciple's luck. Xiao Xian said respectfully, in the future, during the journey of cultivation, disciples should be more cautious and not dare to slack off at all. That's very good, but, are you sure you want this thunder bead? Wu Meng hesitated for a moment, then said, this thunder bead was obtained by your senior brother Wang Tai when he was on a mission from the northern part of the eastern wasteland. When you get one, it's just a single bead, and even Dean Kang Long can't figure out the mystery inside. Senior brother Wang Tai went to the north to get it? So, senior brother Wang Tai should know where this thing was produced. Xiao Xian's eyes lit up. Good. But if you think there's something fishy about where this thing was produced, you're wrong. Wu Meng continued, since the Thunderstone was collected into the spiritual treasure house, many disciples have gone to look for the source, but no one has been able to find it in the end, so you'd better be more cautious. So, it's a good thing that the opportunity of this Thunderstone has not been found by others yet. Xiao Xian smiled instead. Well. After hearing what Xiao Xian said, Wu Meng was also dumbfounded. He didn't expect that his persuasion just now had the opposite effect. Not only did it not make Xiao Xian give up the idea of searching for the treasure, but it also made him more determined. Well, in that case I won't say more. Wu Meng shook his head and took out a jade slip. This is an attack technique, Flying Mark Claw. The level should have exceeded the Xian level, but it has not reached the Earth level. There are 4 moves in total. If you can learn one move before the battle of new life, it should be of great help to you. Disciples, don't dare. There's no time. Disciple, my talent is average. I can only cultivate to 50%, if I have 7 days, I will definitely be able to cultivate to 70%. Du Ling explained with sweat on his face. Wu Meng said. Therefore, he has more confidence in the battle for new students. Both the speed of Taoist training and the power of Taoism will be several times stronger. Seeing this, Xiao Xian also shrank his head in disbelief. Wang Ao looked at the two of them, opened his eyes and asked, "This small earth-level Taoist technique is expensive. It was practiced by my master back then. It is considered the most powerful among the practitioners of the spiritual god realm swordsmanship." Wang Ao's cold eyes immediately fell on Du Ling, who instantly shuddered and knelt down quickly. "Nonsense, I have given you all the small earth-level Taoist techniques that I worked so hard to create, how can you still fail?" Wang Ao said coldly, "Is it possible that you think this Qinglian Valley is available every day? Or do you not pay attention to this small earth-level Taoism at all? Don't dare. Disciple, can only practice to 50%. Thank you, Master Wu." Xiao Xian's face was filled with joy and he quickly took the jade slip. The corner of his mouth twitched. "Master, why do you think you are sure that I can enter the Qinglian Valley? Is your conclusion a little too early? This disciple has been practicing hard these days and has reached the 7th level of power," Wang Rolong said quickly. "If that's the case, let's see how my master handles you." Wang Ao, dressed in white, sat in the meeting hall with a cold expression. It seemed that this time the struggle for rebirth really needed to be worked hard. He also wanted to see the place in the Qinglian Valley to see what mysteries were there. Wang Rolong, Du Ling. Hearing this, Xiao Xian was stunned. "Do you know that this yin and yang sword technique requires the cooperation of you and Wang Rolong? If the two of you are not at the same level of practice, the final power of the sword technique will not be fully unleashed. Du Ling, where are you?" "All right." Wang Ao's lineage. In addition, the disciple's dragon body technique has been practiced to a small degree. In front of him were the most powerful freshmen selected by him. The two people standing at the front were Wang Rolong and Du Ling. "How is your practice of yin and yang swordsmanship going?" In addition to this flying mark claw, he now has 2 small earth-level Taoist techniques, with the help of Daolai Linkaiu and raw power. You can talk about the Lei Guangzhi thing later. Now it's better to seize the time to practice Taoism. In addition, you should also try your best to upgrade your realm to the high level of the spiritual god realm before entering the bottom of Qinglian Valley, so that you will be more confident. Seeing Wang Ao getting angry, Wang Rolong quickly knelt on the ground. "Master, please rest assured, I will definitely be able to take down Xiao Xian this time." Wu Meng glared at Xiao Xian fiercely. "Only 50%. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors." Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 658. Is it? That's good news. Wang Ao's frown eased a little. He knew that dragon body technique was a body strengthening Taoist technique that Wang Ralong practiced relying on his own special body. Even if he has only reached a small level of cultivation, he still has extremely strong physical strength. In this way, it is a good thing for Wang Ralong, at least it will give him an advantage in the battle among the freshmen. Master. Actually, Xiao Xian has just been promoted to the high level of the spiritual god realm, and his strength may be just average. You don't need to pay so much attention to it. Seeing that Wang Ao was still a little worried, Du Ling beside him couldn't help but said directly, besides, even if Xiao Xian is strong, is it possible that he can defeat Mu Xiaolong, or even defeat senior brother Wang Ralong? After Du Ling said these words, it also caused many disciples of Wang Ao's lineage to nod. Obviously, most of the freshmen from Wang Ao's lineage think so. They don't think Xiao Xian has too many extraordinary qualities. As for the previous disputes over martial arts and the selection of professors, it's just that Xiao Xian is lucky. Regarding the attitude of his disciples, Wang Ao also had a serious look on his face, hesitated for a moment and said nothing more. In fact, in Wang Ao's heart, his thoughts were similar to those of these disciples, and he also didn't think Xiao Xian was that great. Those two victories can only be said to be his good luck. Now, with the yin and yang swordsmanship of the small earth-level Taoism and the dragon body technique of Wang Ralong, it shouldn't be a problem to take down Xiao Xian. Thinking of this, Wang Ao also breathed a long sigh of relief. The competition for freshmen at Qinghua College is getting closer and closer. Relying on Li Lingkaiu, Xiao Xian focused his energy on the research of the flying mark claw every day. In a jungle behind a mountain, Xiao Xian closed his eyes and held the jade slip in his hand. A subtle power of the soul invaded it and slowly explored the flying mark claws inside. I saw it in his divine palace. An old man in grey robes had 4 green traces of power in each hand. He swung out a claw and a piece of bluestone in front of him instantly fell apart. Under the fierce force, even the space trembled. Seeing this, Xiao Xian was also stunned. Although he was somewhat prepared in his heart, he was also a little emotional when he saw clearly that even the space was causing turmoil. Space. He is really no stranger to this power. At that time, when facing Wang Ao and Bai Sheng, he clearly felt the power of space. Perhaps, only the Kangshen realm's strength can touch the power of space. With this power, no matter how high one is in the spiritual realm, there is no way to touch the mystery of space. The pure Yangwuji sword technique that he had fused before seemed to have some traces of space power. Unexpectedly, Fihan Claw also has residual space power. This surprised Xiao Xian. The first move, Sky-Splitting Claw. After Xiao Xian strengthened his soul power, the magical effect of Li Lingkai was fully displayed, and the first move of the flying mark claw was instantly displayed. Refer to the grey figure in the god's mansion. He also started to study properly and wanted to see if he could try to understand the flying mark claw. Click. First time taking action. Although Xiao Xian's posture is similar to that of the grey-robed figure in the god's mansion, the final effect of the Taoist technique is completely different. One paw clenched on the big tree. The big tree just shook slightly and dropped a leaf, that's all. Hey. It is indeed a small earth-level Taoist technique, but it is difficult to learn. Xiao Xian was not surprised by this result. After all, it was a small earth-level Taoist treasure collected by Wu Meng. It would be abnormal if he could learn it so easily. Fortunately, he is a tough person. If one time doesn't work, then do it twice, 3 times, 10 times, 100 times. Xiao Xian is quite confident that he can fully learn the flying mark claw, and at least learn more than 2 moves before the battle between freshmen. This will give you greater confidence. The next period of time, Xiao Xian also practiced extremely hard on the flying mark claw. He practiced before dawn every day and did not return to the cave until night. Because Dean Kanglong decided to choose only one person among the new students to enter the Qinglian Valley this time. There is only one quota for freshmen to go to Qinglian Valley. Even for this quota, I will fight for it. At the same time, Long Ruoxiu seemed to be concentrating on practicing something, and usually had no time to look for Xiaoxian. We all understand that the situation in the freshman battle is different this time. Certainly. Therefore, regardless of Wang Ao's lineage, Lu Lianyi's lineage, or Bai Sheng's lineage, they can only fight for one spot. Xiaoxian's face was slightly solemn, and he glanced at the group of opponents on the field. Although there are many people in these groups, the real threats are Wang Rolong, Mu Xiaolong, and Chen Meng. Since there are some things that you have to do your best. I don't dare to take it. Xiaoxian shook his head slightly. I just want to seek a trial qualification in the Qinglian Valley, that's all. A few days later. You are right. Long Ruoxiu nodded. The weakest of the three of them are all high-level spiritual gods. Are you sure? Although I was somewhat prepared before coming here, I was somewhat surprised when I heard you say that in person. Such frequent practice took a huge toll on his body. For the latter kind of people whose eyes are higher than their heads. Interesting. Help him restore his soul and power. But Dean Kanglong didn't say that I can't be qualified for this. Xiaoxian still didn't care. I do know. He is mature and understands that given the current situation, there is absolutely no need to quarrel with Wang Rolong over such trivial matters. Wang Rolong said directly. Okay. Even disciples like Long Ruoxiu Qingli. On the ground of Qinghua College. Now, he has two small earth-level Taoist skills in his body. Coupled with the other trump cards in his body, he is confident to defeat Wang Rolong. If I want to defeat these people, maybe I still have some confidence. Don't you know that there is only one new student qualified for the trial in Qinglian Valley? Wang Rolong's face was gloomy. He, Wang Rolong, may not really be the number one among the young generation. Fortunately, with the help of Daolan Cave, every night, as long as Xiaoxian lies in the cave, he can enjoy the gentle nourishment of Tao power. The best way is to slap him in the face with strong fighting power and let him know that there is a way out. I didn't expect that junior brother Xiaoxian is still so confident after such a long time. Wang Rolong's voice came over. Is it possible that it's just because of the self-confidence that the competition over the martial arts and the professor's selection gave me? Xiaoxian, how are you preparing? Besides Xiaoxian, Long Ruoxiu and Qingli looked at Xiaoxian with a bit of curiosity on their faces. Xiaoxian is full of confidence. The battle for freshmen in Qinghua College has finally begun. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 659. Senior Brother Wang, you don't need to talk nonsense with such a person. Even though he's shouting loudly now, I'm afraid he won't have such confidence once he actually gets on the battlefield. Mu Xiaolong also stood up. Not surprisingly, he still stood together with Wang Rolong, looking at Xiaoxian with a sinister look on his face, full of hostility. For these two people, Xiaoxian was really dumbfounded. When it comes to the previous disputes over martial arts and professor selection, there was more than one person available, so it was understandable that they would cooperate. But now, in the battle for new life, only the first one can enter the Qinglian Valley. Why do they still cooperate? What value is there in their cooperation like this? Is it possible that after they defeat themselves, someone will voluntarily give up their qualifications for the trial? Xiaoxian knew that this was completely impossible. Not to mention that they themselves would not agree, even the master behind them would never agree. But no matter what, if Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong cooperate, it will not be a good thing for him. Therefore, he couldn't help but focus on Chen Meng. Beauty Chen Meng. Looking at it now, Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong are already planning to cooperate. I wonder what Miss Chen is thinking. Xiao Xian asked directly, I don't think that Miss Chen will also cooperate with them, right? Regarding Xiao Xian's question, Chen Meng also frowned. For her, the purpose of participating in this freshman competition is also very clear, which is to come first. She was a little tired of the arrogant and domineering Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong. Similarly, he didn't necessarily have a good impression of Xiao Xian, who was good at pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger, so he didn't express his opinion. Got no response though. In this regard, Xiao Xian was not discouraged, but a flash of joy flashed in his heart. He knew that anyone with a discerning eye could now see that Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong were definitely the most powerful beings in the battle for new life. Generally, freshmen face a combination of the two of them. Even if he doesn't take the initiative to seek refuge, he won't take the initiative to provoke him. Now, since Chen Meng has not expressed his intention to go against them, this is also a relatively good sign. At least it proves that Chen Meng can still be won over. Beautiful Chen is also a smart person. Looking at it now, Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong are already in the same league. I wonder what Miss Chen is thinking, Xiao Xian asked directly. What can you think? I, Chen Meng, don't care about other people's affairs. How could Chen Meng not know that what Xiao Xian said was just to get her to join the gang? But before making this decision, she had to think carefully. Certainly. But I believe that even if the beauty Chen Meng is extremely powerful, it would still be a bit difficult to face the two of them joining forces at the same time, right? Xiao Xian followed the temptation and said, how about the two of us cooperate, just like last time? After defeating them, we can compete again, how about? Xiao Xian, are you scared? Is it possible that you are giving in before the battle among the freshmen has even begun? Looking for a woman as a shield? Isn't it a bit too promising? Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong also looked ugly. They knew that if Xiao Xian really won over Chen Meng, it would be a big challenge for them. What can I do if I'm afraid? As long as we can finally get the qualification for the trial in Qinglian Valley, even if we join forces, isn't it a strategy? Xiao Xian looked at Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong nonchalantly, if nothing else, didn't you two do this? He also said this in front of everyone. For a time, everyone's attention naturally quickly focused on the two of them. You know, joining forces in the battle for new life is not a new thing, but Wang Ao's lineage and Bai Sheng's lineage are both old and powerful lines. Now they are directly united together. Xiao Xian. It may even be impossible to recover for a period of time. In an instant, the freshmen of Qinghua College started talking, and even Chen Meng frowned. To put it more seriously, Chen Meng narrowed his eyes. Perhaps junior brother Xiao Xian's purpose is also to obtain the qualification for the trial in Qinglian Valley. This eating phase is somewhat ugly, isn't it, because it doesn't give other pulses a chance? Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong also had ugly faces. Although they are only targeting Xiao Xian now, there is a saying that if Xiao Xian is solved by them, it will be cold. It can be said that these new students are the fresh blood of this lineage. Aren't other pulses their next target? Among the freshmen of Qinghua College, they are considered to be the top figures. Who knew that Xiao Xian would say this now? What you said is wrong. You know, within Qinghua College, no matter which lineage you are in, you are extremely interested in the new students of your own lineage. After all, what Xiao Xian said was indeed a bit too bold. This is a natural thing, Xiao Xian did not deny it. But I can guarantee that after eliminating both of their lines, we can run a fair campaign. Kill people and kill your heart. Especially the old and powerful lineages like Wang Ao, Lu Lianyi, and Bai Sheng. If they want to make their own lineage continue to be strong, they naturally have to pay more attention to the younger lineage of their own lineage. But after what Xiao Xian said, he directly offended the two strongest people. Isn't this just asking for death? Cooperate with you. What good can I do? It was as if he could handle both of them casually. Xiao Xian shook his head and explained seriously, I just want to help the younger generation of your two lineages. If Xiao Xian is really allowed to challenge the younger generations of these two lines today, then it will definitely be a huge blow to the future of these two lines. Although Wang Rulong and Mu Xiaolong were not very good characters, they were from the same lineage as Wang Ao and Bai Sheng. This really annoyed them a bit. Is it possible that you really think that you are omnipotent? Today, I want to see what kind of person can destroy both of our lines. Xiao Xian, you are so brave. Moreover, the new students in other lineages previously followed Lu Lianyi's lineage, and now they are naturally dissatisfied with Wang Rulong and Mu Xiaolong. If Dean Wang Ao and Dean Bai Sheng know what you did today, I'm afraid you won't end well. This is pure murder and heartbreaking. I never said I wanted to destroy both of your veins. Xiao Xian's words stirred up 1,000 waves. Eradicate these two lines. What are you afraid of? Do you think that all of my Wu and Meng lineage are doing nothing? Are you a little too arrogant? Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 660. They are indeed a younger generation. You speak so freely. Do you really think that both of our veins can be manipulated casually? Wang Ao stood outside the fighting platform and said to Bai Sheng beside him. Young man, he is quite normal, Bai Sheng said disdainfully, if nothing else, just because of his sharp tongue, he is quite interesting. To practice a discipline, you have to rely on your own strength after all. If you only have one mouth, I'm afraid it will be of little use. In the end, it will probably only harm others and yourself. Wang Ao was very contemptuous. That's what Dean Wang said. Bai Sheng also nodded. What are you two talking about here? They seemed to be discussing the battle between new students. Dean Kanglong emerged from the void. I've met Dean Kanglong. Regarding the sudden appearance of Kanglong, Wang Ao and Bai Sheng were not surprised, and they saluted respectfully. In response to Dean Kanglong, there are many good prospects among the freshmen of our Kinghua College this year, so we will pay special attention to them. Indeed. I've heard a lot about it too. Wang Rulong, Mu Xiaolong, and Chen Meng are the leaders among them. Kanglong nodded, and, if I remember correctly, there seems to be someone named Xiao Xian among the freshmen, right? Dean Kanglong is right. Wang Ao was stunned. He didn't expect that Dean Kanglong actually knew Xiao Xian's name, and he nodded. In the previous period of the martial arts battle and professor selection, he got the leader. Xiao Xian is still a new student in Dean Wu Meng's lineage, and his talent is really good. Bai Sheng was also unwilling to be left behind. Wu Meng's lineage, is it going to rise? Kanglong was slightly surprised. He naturally knew about Wu Meng's lineage, which was the weakest in the academy, but he did not expect that a dark horse figure like Xiao Xian would appear in their lineage. Dean Kanglong is too worried. It's just Xiao Xian. In the previous disputes over Kung Fu and professor selection, one relied on the power of the soul, and the other relied on the Taoist formation. They are not considered real strength. Wang Ao suddenly laughed. In terms of true Taoist power, Xiao Xian is not even a high-level spiritual god. How can he stand out in the battle for new students with such strength? After hearing this, Kanglong and Bai Sheng also nodded slightly. They also understand that on the Dao continent, there are various combat methods for practitioners such as divine souls, Dao talismans, and formations. But let's talk about it. For a cultivator, the power of the Tao in the body is the most original thing. Intermediate level of spiritual god realm. The power of such a great avenue is still a bit weak. Kanglong glanced at Xiao Xian and said, but the energy of the soul is very strong, and it can be said to be quite capable. As the dean of Qinghua Academy, Kang Long naturally meant what he said. At this moment, since even he said this, it naturally caused everyone to nod in approval. Dean Kang Long, since everyone is almost here, shall the battle of freshmen begin today? When Wang Ao heard Kang Long's words, he was very approving in his heart. Will this year's freshman battle continue the experience of previous years? Okay, Kang Long nodded. Yes. Everyone is here, let's start the freshman battle today. According to the rules of previous years, you can form any team on the battlefield. The college that can still stand on the battle platform in the end will be the first freshman. Wang Ao just finished speaking. The fighting platform was instantly aroused. Freshmen from all branches of Qinghua Academy appeared on the fighting stage one after another, and everyone could take action against those around them. Some people who are unwilling to be lonely also start to make moves towards the people around them. Boom. Go to hell, Yewudeo, you can't be the number one freshman today. Just because you, Wu Long, want to drive me out, I haven't seen you like that. For a moment, the battle arena was in chaos. From time to time, defeated freshmen fell onto the battle platform and were eliminated miserably. But the fighting stage is messy. Among them, Jingui is clearly divided into two parties, one is Wang Rulong, Du Ling, and Mu Xiaolong, and the other is Chen Meng, Xiaoxian, and Long Ruoxiu. There were many new disciples standing behind both parties. Although no one on the two sides took the initiative to provoke, the fierce momentum between them made it obvious that they would fight to the death today. Interesting. I didn't expect that Lu Lianyi's lineage and Wu Meng's lineage could unite. Wang Ao couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. I just don't know if they can pose a threat to us if they join forces. Dean Wang Ao, don't talk too much. A beautiful woman in a green dress sneered. Although your lineage is strong, our lineage is not a vegetarian. Of course, everyone knows that our junior sister Lu Lianyi is the one who practices the hardest. Wang Ao turned around and smiled slightly. You just told me to work hard. Is it possible that you want to say that the new students of our lineage are weak and cannot get into your eyes? Lu Lianyi's eyebrows stood up, her almond-shaped eyes widened. Don't think we are afraid of you. Haha, don't worry, junior sister Lu, I didn't say that the freshmen of your lineage are weak. Wang Ao forced out a rare smile. Yes, junior sister Lu, you are master's favorite disciple. Even if you train new students, you must be outstanding. How can we say that your new students are weak? Bai Sheng said with the same smile. Lu Lianyi glared at Wang Ao and Bai Sheng's deliberate overtures and said no more. Lu Lianyi knew it in her heart. Although their lineage is second only to Wang Ao's lineage in strength among the 7 lines of Qinghua Academy, it is difficult to catch up even with such a small gap. Especially when it comes to freshmen. Chen Meng's talent in their lineage is pretty good, but compared with Wang Rulong who has dragon blood, there is still a big gap. So with that, it is also extremely difficult for Chen Meng to defeat Wang Rulong. Not to mention, this time Wang Ao will naturally give Wang Rulong a lot of good things in order to get the first place in the freshman competition. With these things, it would be even more difficult for Chen Meng to defeat the latter. As for Xiaoxian, he is just a disciple of a lonely lineage. Perhaps he can gain some advantage in the previous struggle by relying on some side things such as formations and souls. But if he really wants to fight with Dao power, I'm afraid he won't be able to do it. Lu Lianyi shook her head slightly. She didn't believe that with the help of Xiaoxian, Chen Meng could get the first place in the freshman competition. However, if Xiaoxian can hold Bai Sheng back, it can also allow Chen Meng and Wang Rulong to compete one-on-one, which may be Chen Meng's only chance to win the first place in the freshman competition. Thinking of this, Lu Lianyi's eyes looked at Xiaoxian with a hint of separation.